But how will these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have a research team joining in to tell you just that. The trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. It's a Friday morning, so we do have the Friday cheer. But will that convert into Friday cheer for the markets as well? So Darshan, tell us all about the market cues.
Morning, Sonal. So it looks likely that the overall setup for Indian market is looking positive, and we had earnings from two IT majors, TCS and Infosys, and both the earnings were largely in line or better than estimates. And tracking that, Infosys ADR was up 4% overnight. On global front, we had two major data points. CPI inflation, which came higher than anticipated at 3.4%, and the second data point was US 10-year yield, which is back below 4%. Coming to our market, for Nifty, for second day in a row, it was just about one stock, that is Reliance. It contributed more than 50 points and helped Nifty hold on to the level of 21,600. For Nifty Bank, its biggest two-weighted stocks, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, have underperformed, but support came in from banks like RBL, IndusInd Bank, which have high unsecured personal loan exposure. Because yesterday, RBI governor in his statement said the amount of unsecured personal loans in the system are not at an alarming level. On to institutional activities, FIs have sold shares for third day in a row, and for January, now they are net sellers. On Thursday, FIs have sold shares of Rs 865 crore in cash market, while DIIs have bought shares of Rs 1600 crore. For today, GIFT Nifty is indicating a start with minor gains. And some more cues for today. We have India CPI for December, which is estimated at 5.9%. We have IIP for November, which is estimated at 4%. Also, we have HDFC Life, Wipro and HCL Tech, which will be reporting earnings for the third quarter. On global front, we have earnings of JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo and Citigroup.
It is earnings heavy day and week as well. But other stocks that will be on our radar. Hormas, tell us about that and the earnings as well.
Absolutely, and I'll start off with Infosys. That will be the big one to watch out for. As Sud was highlighting, the ADR was up 4%. The company has revised its guidance again, and they have now revised the guidance to 1.5 to 2% from 1 to 2.5% earlier, which means that they have trimmed the upper end, but they have raised the lower end of the guidance. But they have maintained the margin guidance at 20 to 22%, and they have also announced an acquisition worth 280 crore rupees. So we'll keep that on our radar. TCS, where US dollar revenue was surpassing our expectations, expecting a 0.2% drop, but it came in at a growth of 1% from last quarter. New deal wins for the quarter was $8.1 billion compared to $11.2 billion, which they won in September. And the company said that the deal win number was without any mega deals that they won. Now, Polycap continues to be in focus. They have reiterated that they have not yet received any communication from the income tax department. But the block deal which took place yesterday in the stock saw small cap world fund selling around 8.5 lakh shares at around 3,900 rupees. And the stock, remember, is in the F&O ban for today's session. Mahindra & Mahindra will invest around 630 crore rupees via rights issue in its subsidiary, which is Mahindra Electric Automobile, and MEAL will use these proceeds for business operations. Nykaa might see a block deal today where Lexdel International is likely to sell around 2.5 crore shares in a deal which is valued at around 490 crore rupees, and there will be a lock-in period of 45 days post this transaction. Concor came out with its business updates. Domestic volumes were down, but overall volumes were up 6% year on year. HG Infra has been declared an L1 bidder for a 716 crore project by the Central Railway. And lastly, LIC will remain in focus because it has received yet another tax demand. This time it's around 3,500 crore rupees. Back to you.
Okay, all right. So those are the stocks that will be on our radar. Thank you, Hormas, for that list. Let's talk about the F&O space as well. Manglam is joining us now. Hey, Manglam.
Well, you know, 4 out of the last 5 occasions on our markets, the Nifty has actually faced some resistance between the 21,700 and 21,750 mark. As you would see, the day's high on the Nifty over the last 4 or 5 trading sessions comes up for you. You know, we have seen a reversal from this mark itself. The GIFT Nifty implies a positive start. So let's see whether we go ahead and convincingly cross past this resistance zone itself or not. The big reason for that conviction would be the kind of contribution that will come in from the IT pack itself. However, the FIIs believe that the markets will still be in a range, which is why there's been a mild purchase in index options. Stock specific is the way to go, and that's what we've seen. Close to around 1,700 crore worth purchase in the stock futures itself. Since we're talking about individual stocks, let's talk about Infosys. The ADR was up 4% yesterday, but from an F&O standpoint, the maximum open interest is at 1,600 call. So, you know, 1,600 is the mark that everyone is looking at as a near-term congestion. That's the kind of upside that we have on Infosys. For TCS, the range is 100 rupees between 3,700 and 3,800 because that's where the maximum open interest on calls and puts are itself. For the Nifty itself, for once it crosses past this congestion that we are talking about, the next level, of course, would be the previous all-time high of 21,834. But for that, we have to convincingly cross 21,750 itself. The 20-day moving average on the Nifty Bank is extremely crucial, so that's something we'll be watching out for. Polycab has entered F&O ban as expected. Delta Corp has re-entered F&O ban after exiting it yesterday. And we have BHEL, which too has entered F&O ban. Keep an eye out on IEX, Balrampur Chini and Chambal Fertilizer. All these three stocks have exited F&O ban.
So those are all the F&O cues. Thank you guys for joining us today and prepping us up for this trading day ahead.